Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Natika Najwa binti Muhammad Syukur, matrix number 313554. Today I will be presenting on Ar-Rahnu, also known as Islamic pawnbroking. Let me begin with the introduction. Ar-Rahnu is a financial service that allows people to obtain short-term loans by pledging valuable items, most commonly gold as collateral. What makes Ar-Rahnu different from conventional pawnbroking is that it operates fully under Sharia principles. Instead of charging interest, it uses Islamic contracts such as Qard Hasan, which is an interest-free loan, Wadi Hayat Dhamanah, which ensures safekeeping with a guarantee, and Ujrah, which is a service fee for safekeeping. The first Ar-Rahnu institution in Malaysia was established in 1992 by Muassasah Gadaian Islam Terengganu under the Terengganu Islamic Religious and Malay Custom Council. Since then, Ar-Rahnu has expanded through institutions like Bank Rakyat and Permodalan Kelantan Berhad. It has become an important microfinancing tool for lower and middle income groups, providing emergency funds in a fair and ethical way without burdening borrowers with the interest charge. Now, let's look at the background of Islamic pawnbroking. Before Ar-Rahnu was introduced, pawnbroking in Malaysia was dominated by conventional pawn shop, mostly operated by Chinese communities and regulated under Pawnbrokers Act of 1972. These pawn shops offered loans based on gold items with repayment periods of up to 6 months, but they charge high interest rates of around 2% per month. While this system gave borrowers quick access to cash, it often left them struggling with debt and at risk of losing their pledged items permanently. Ar-Rahnu was created as a Sharia-compliant alternative to solve this problem. It eliminates riba or interest and promotes fairness in financial dealings. For example, if a pledged item is lost or damaged, the pawnbroker must compensate the borrower for its value. The safekeeping fee is also calculated based on the market value of the item, not the loan amount, which ensures borrowers are charged fairly. This makes Ar-Rahnu not only a financial service but also a social instrument that supports community welfare and financial inclusion. Moving on to the objective of the study, the main objectives are to examine historical development of Ar-Rahnu in Malaysia and its role in Islamic finance, to analyse the operational framework and Sharia contracts that underpin Ar-Rahnu, and to compare it with conventional pawnbroking in terms of charge, loan periods, and ethical consideration. The study also aims to evaluate Ar-Rahnu's contribution to financial inclusion, especially for lower and middle income groups who depend on microfinancing for daily needs and emergencies. Finally, it seeks to assess the sustainability and charge faced by Ar-Rahnu in today's financial environment. The scope of the study is equally important. It covers the historical background of pawnbroking in Malaysia and the transition to Islamic pawnbroking. It examines the conceptual framework of Ar-Rahnu, including its contracts and operational pillars, and highlights the differences between conventional pawnbroking and Ar-Rahnu, particularly in terms of interest charge, safekeeping fees, and loan duration. The study also focused on the role of Ar-Rahnu as a microfinancing tool, emphasizing its impact on financial inclusion and poverty reduction. In addition, it considers the institutions that offer Ar-Rahnu services in Malaysia and their contribution to the growth of financial banking. Now, let me explain the relevant Islamic financial product itself. Ar-Rahnu is defined as a financial product that provides short-term loans to individuals who pledge valuable items, most commonly gold, as collateral. Unlike conventional pawnbroking, Ar-Rahnu is structured entirely on Sharia principle. It does not involve interest charge but instead relies on several Islamic contracts. These include Ar-Rahnu, which refers to the act of the pledging an item as collateral, Wadi Hayat Dhamanah, which ensures safekeeping with a guarantee, Ujrah, which is a service fee for safekeeping, and Qard Hasan, which is an interest-free loan. Together, these contracts form the foundations of Ar-Rahnu, making it a fair and ethical financial system that supports financial inclusion while remaining compliant with Islamic law. Next, let's look at the features of Ar-Rahnu services. Ar-Rahnu is designed to be simple, transparent, and accessible, especially for lower and middle income groups who often need emergency funds. Borrowers are not charged interest. Instead, they pay a safekeeping fee that is calculated based on the market value of the pledged item rather than the loan amount. The pledged item, usually gold, must be handed over to the pawnbroker for safekeeping. If the collateral is lost, stolen or damaged, the pawnbroker is required to compensate the borrower for its value. The financing period is generally up to 6 months, with the possibility of extension for another 2 or 3 months, giving borrowers flexibility in repayment. Borrowers also retain the right to redeem their pledged item once the loan and safekeeping fees are fully settled. Another important feature is that pawnbrokers offering Ar-Rahnu services are required to use takaful or Islamic insurance rather than conventional insurance, which further reinforces Sharia compliance.
I will explain the difference between Ar-Rahnu and conventional pawnbroking as well as the institution that offer Ar-Rahnu service in Malaysia. First, let's look at the difference between the two systems. Ar-Rahnu is an Islamic pawnbroking system that operates according to Sharia principles, while conventional pawnbroking follows conventional financial practice. One major difference is that Ar-Rahnu does not charge interest or riba. Instead, customer only pays a small service and safekeeping fee known as ujrat. In contrast, conventional pawnbroking charge interest usually between 2 and 4% per month, making it more expensive for borrowers. Another difference is the objective. Ar-Rahnu focuses on ethical financing and social welfare, whereas conventional pawnbroking is mainly profit-oriented. In terms of collateral, Ar-Rahnu ensures that pledged items are safely kept according to Islamic guidelines. If the collateral is auctioned, any surplus money is returned to the customer after deducting the debt and related charge. This makes the process more transparent and fair. Overall, Ar-Rahnu is considered more customer-friendly because it offers lower financing costs, greater transparency, and greater transparency and full compliance with Sharia principles. Now let's move on to the institution that provide Ar-Rahnu service in Malaysia. Some of the major providers include Bank Rakyat, Yapim Ar-Rahnu, Bank, Bank Islam, Post Malaysia, and Tekun Nasional. These institutions provide quick and affordable financing to individuals, small businesses, and those facing short-term financial difficulties. Most importantly, all their services are based on Islamic contract, ensuring fairness, transparency, and compliance with Sharia principles. In conclusion, Ar-Rahnu is a practical and ethical financing solution that benefits society by providing fast financial assistance without involving interest. Now, I will explain the Islamic contracts involved in Ar-Rahnu. There are 4 main contracts used in the Ar-Rahnu system. The first is Rahnu, which is the collateral contract. The customer pledges a valuable asset, usually gold, as security for the loan, but ownership of the asset remains with the customer. The second is Qard, or an interest-free loan. The institution provides financing without charging any interest, so the customer only needs to repay the original amount borrowed. The third contract is Wadi'ah, which refers to the safekeeping of the pledged asset. The institution is responsible for protecting the customer's collateral until the loan is fully repaid. Finally, there is Ujrah, which is a service fee charged for storing and managing the collateral. This fee only covers operational costs and is not considered interest. In conclusion, these 4 contracts work together to ensure that Ar-Rahnu provides a fair, transparent, and fully Sharia-compliant financing solution. Thank you. Now, I will explain the operational process or modus operandi of Ar-Rahnu. The Ar-Rahnu process is a simple and Sharia-compliant method of obtaining short-term financing by using valuable assets, such as gold jewelry as collateral. First, the customer brings the gold to an Ar-Rahnu institution where the customer's identity and the value of the gold are verified. Based on the valuation, the institution determines the financing amount that can be offered. When the customer repays the loan and the agreed service fee, the gold is returned. If the customer fails to repay, the gold may be auctioned and any remaining balance after settling the debt is returned to the customer. Overall, this process ensures transparency, fairness, and full compliance with Sharia principles. I will explain the customer application process in Ar-Rahnu. The application process is designed to be simple, fast, and accessible. Unlike conventional loans, customers do not need a guarantor or undergo intensive credit checks because the financing is secured by collateral. To begin with, the customer will visit an Ar-Rahnu institution with a valuable asset, usually gold jewelry, together with a valid identification document such as my card or passport. The customer then completes the application form and the institution verifies both the customer's identity and the eligibility of the pledged gold. After that, the gold is assessed to determine its value and the financing amount that can be offered. Once the customer agrees the financing terms, the relevant Islamic contracts are signed, the financing is approved, and the loan is disbursed. The pledged gold is securely store until the customer fully repays the loan. This straightforward process allows customers to receive financial assistance quickly while ensuring all transactions comply with Sharia principle. Lastly, I will explain the valuation of gold in the Arahnu process. The valuation of gold is an important step because it determines the amount of financing that the customer can receive. A trained appraiser first checks the authenticity and purity of the gold, which is measured in carats such as 18K, 20K, or 24K. The gold is weighed using a digital scale and only the gold is considered winning gemstone or other metals are excluded. The institution also refers to the current market price of gold to calculate its value. Based on this assessment, most Arahnu institutions in Malaysia provide financing of approximately 70% to 80% of the gold appraised value. This professional and transparent valuation process ensures fairness, protects both customer and the institution, and maintains compliance with Sharia principle. Thank you.
Hello doctor, my name is Nurin Zahira, number matric 313614. Next, I will explain the financing approval process in Arahnu. After customer bring their identity card and gold item, the institution will evaluate the gold before approving financing. Unlike conventional financing, approval in Arahnu mainly depends on the value and quality of the gold, not income or credit background. Based on the interview findings, only customers aged 18 years old and above are eligible to apply, and the institution usually accept gold between 18K to 24K. To ensure accurate valuation, tools such as a densimeter machine and acid test are used. The process is also conducted face-to-face, allowing customer to observe and ask questions before agreeing to financing amount. Moving on to the repayment and redemption process. Customers are required to repay the refinancing amount within the agreed period stated in the contract. In Arahnu, there are no interest charge like conventional pawnbroking. Instead, customers only pay safekeeping or service fees for storing the pledged gold. According to the interview findings, the officer advised customers to make monthly payments, especially for high-value gold, because higher gold value may involve higher safekeeping fees. Once customer fully settle the payment, the institution will verify the transaction and safely return to the pledged gold to them. The next process is the auction process for unclaimed collateral. This happens when customers fail to repay financing within the agreed period and do not redeem their pledged gold. Before auctioning the gold, customers are usually given reminders and sometimes an extension period to settle payment. The auction process follows strict institutional procedures and Sharia principles to ensure fairness. If the auction value is higher than the outstanding balance, the remaining amount will be returned to the customer. This process acts as a final mechanism to recover financing while protecting customer rights. Now, I will discuss the current issue or challenge in Arahnu. One of the main issues is customer protection, especially valuation transparency. Since financing depends on gold value, customers sometimes feel dissatisfied when the valuation result is lower than expected. Many customers expect a higher financing amount based on purchase price, but the actual valuation depends on priority, grade, and market condition. Based on the interview, customers often question the valuation results, especially when the densimeter machine show a lower gold grade. To solve this issue, institutions conduct valuation in front of customer for better transparency. For customer protection issues, Arahnu aims to ensure customers receive fair treatment and clear information through the financing process. However, one common issue is dissatisfaction with gold valuation because customers may expect higher financing amounts. This misunderstanding usually happens because customers focus on the purchase price instead of the actual gold grade and market value. According to the interview findings, officers explain the valuation process clearly to reduce confusion. In addition, black gold is protected through optional takaful and PIDN coverage, which help improve customer confidence and security. There are several factors contributing to customer protection issues in Arahnu. First, different institutions may use different valuation methods, causing different financing offers for similar gold items. Second, many customers lack understanding about how gold value is determined, as valuation depends on purity, grade, and design rather than purchase price. Another contributing factor is competition among institutions because customers today compare fees and services before making decisions. Based on the interview findings, customers are now more educated and selective, which increases expectations and sometimes dissatisfaction. In addition, customer protection issues have effect on both customers and institutions. For customers, dissatisfaction with valuation may reduce trust and confidence, leading them to reject financing or move to another institution. Misunderstanding about repayment terms and safekeeping fees may also create financial burden and increase the risk of auction. For institutions, this issue can affect reputation and competitiveness, especially because customers now have many alternatives. Therefore, institutions must improve communication and transparency to maintain customers' trust and satisfaction.
Next, Syariah critical analysis of the issue transparency remain an important issue in Ar-Rahnu because it affects customer trust and satisfaction. This issue can be analyzed from the Syariah, legal and operational perspective. Although various measures has been implemented, there are still a room for the improvement to ensure the customer fully understanding the valuation process. Moreover, from the Sharia perspective, transparency is important to ensure the fairness. Customers are allowed to observe the value process, which help promote trust and accountability. However, better customer awareness is still needed so that customers can understand how the value of their gold determined. Also, from the legal and regulatory perspective, Ar-Rahnu operates according to the Sharia principle and Malaysian regulation. Customers are provided with explanation regarding the valuableness of the financing process. Nevertheless, continuous monitoring and supervision are important to maintain transparency and strengthen customer confidence. And currently, the valuation process is conducted in front of the customer to improve transparency. Ar-Rahnu institution also use decimeter machine to ensure more accurate valuation result. However, customer expectation may be sometimes different from the actual valuation, which can lead to dissatisfaction. Lastly, the existing practice has several strengths, including transparent process, accurate valuation method, and strong customer protection. However, there are also some weaknesses. Many customers have limited knowledge about a gold valuation, and different situations may use a different valuation method. As a result, misunderstanding can still occur among customers. Let's move to the practical recommendation or solution. Several recommendations can be implemented to address issues related to the transparency and customer protection in Ar-Rahnu. These recommendations aim to increase customer satisfaction, strengthen trust, and improve the overall effectiveness of the Ar-Rahnu operation. Operational transparency can be improved by providing a clear explanation regarding the gold valuation process. Standardized valuation guidelines also should be introduced to ensure consistency among institutions. In addition, digital valuation report can help customers better understand how their financing amount is calculated. Customer awareness can be enhanced through educational program and information material about Ar-Rahnu service. Customers should also be informed about the takaful protection provided for the pledged asset. Furthermore, improving financial literacy can help customers make a better financial decision and understand the valuation process more clearly. The regulatory framework should be strengthened by standardizing valuation practice across the Ar-Rahnu institution. Regular monitoring and audit are also important to ensure transparency and Sharia compliance. Stronger customer protection measures can further increase the public confidence in Ar-Rahnu service. In conclusion, Ar-Rahnu institutions should continue conducting valuation in front of the customer to promote transparency. Simple and easy to understand valuation reports should also be provided. In addition, effectiveness communication and customer education should be strengthened to improve customer understanding and trust.
Now, let's look at strengthening the regulatory framework. We propose 3 core pillars, which is first, uniform valuation rule. We need a unified regulatory blueprint across Malaysia to standardize how gold valuation is computed. This avoids wide price discrepancies and prevent customer disappointment. Second, audit and Sharia compliance. To preserve trust, we must run regular third-party audits on valuation tool and strictly verify Sharia compliance for complete operational integrity. Third, active public education. We need to improve public awareness by educating clients on how purity, weight, and global price fluctuation affect loan, while providing transparent return terms. Lastly, our action plan for institutional best practice covers 4 main strategies. Firstly, transparent gold appraisal conduct or valuation openly in front of the customer, giving clear explanation on gold purity, weight and market price. Next, straightforward valuation report, which is deliver a simplified, immediate report so customer comprehend how their financing is computed, drastically reducing dispute. Thirdly, accessible educational media can proactively educate the public using physical brochure, corporate website and active social media platform. And lastly, robust staff training execute mandatory training for frontline employees focus on soft skills to explain complex Sharia concept with clarity and empathy. In short, balancing strict regulation with transparent on-the-ground action is the key to a sustainable Arhanu sector. Next, to gather reliable empirical data, we conduct an interview on 4 June 2026 via Google Meet with Ms. Shahidah binti Abdul Latif, an executive officer at Bank Rakyat. She possesses over 11 years of extensive experience in banking and Arahnu operation. The core purpose of this interview was to gain deeper insight into operational process, valuation transparency, consumer protection and the practical challenge faced by Arahnu institution in Malaysia. Next, Ms. Shahidah shared that Bank Rakyat Arahnu Service strictly apply the Syariah concept of Rahnu and Tawaruk. For eligibility, customer must be 18 years old and above and they need to bring their identity card along with their gold item. The institution accept gold purity ranging from 18K to 24K as collateral. In terms of test and accuracy, the gold valuation is conducted professionally using a densimeter machine and the acid testing method. To maintain complete honesty, this entire valuation process is carried out face-to-face right in front of the customer. Our finding confirm that face-to-face appraisal promote fairness and compliance with Islamic banking principle. However, a major issue highlighted by the officer is customer dissatisfaction. Dispute frequently arise when the final valuation is lower than the customer's expectation. This is not due to a flawed process, but rather a customer misunderstanding regarding their gold actual grade or purity. Furthermore, the industry faces market challenge like rising competition and a lack of operational standardization across different establishments. Every provider operates under distinct term and charging scheme, which cause consumer confusion. To address consumer protection, Bank Rakyat mitigate this by providing optional takaful coverage to secure the pledged gold. In conclusion, customer trust is the foundation of the Arahnu industry. Therefore, transparency in the valuation process is essential to ensure customers feel confident that their pledged gold is assessed fairly and accurately. In addition, addressing customer knowledge gap is equally important. Providing clear information about gold purity, grading standard, and current market price can help customers better understand the valuation process and reduce misunderstanding. Furthermore, customer protection should extend beyond valuation alone. Proper disclosure of information, secure safeguarding of pledged asset, and consistent operational policies are necessary to protect customers' interests. Looking ahead, Arahnu will continue to play an important role as a Sharia-compliant financial alternative in Malaysia. By maintaining transparent and consistent practice, the industry can strengthen public confidence and support sustainable growth in the future. Thank you.